Topic today, using relationship capital to accelerate your sales process. I thought this would be a great way to kick off 2020 with my first live show. Layne, let's talk about relationship capital. That's the featured topic of the day, and it's a word that maybe not everybody's familiar with.
I want to make it clear to everybody that your network is your net worth, plain and simple.
Definitely.
If you
I think there's a song about that.
Yeah, and if you don't have that in your mind constantly, you might be doing something wrong. People as humans are always selling themselves all the time to achieve the goals that they're looking to set out, to get what they want, to help other people with their achievements. So I take this whole universal approach with it. But to drill down specifically on how I go about relationship capital, I've been in technology now for almost 25 years. And most importantly, you have to prove yourself with your work. This whole city, believe it or not, is really, really small. Everybody tends to know one another.
Right.
And your reputation is everything.
If you could tell us though, how are you developing the capital with them? Like what kind of activities, touch points, like what's for lack of a better word, what's the schedule or what's the system so that I can develop and let's call it and bank some capital with folks that are important to me? Talk to me about that a little bit.
And it takes a lot of maturity and confidence to be able to move that relationship a step forward. There comes a point in your career where you have to give to get back. So what I've done over the years with my network is really get to understand who they are as people, how they run their businesses, and what help do they need to help them succeed. I made it my mission in 2019 to try to help every person in my immediate network, whether it's solving problems with them, just being a sounding board or an opinion board, and actually finding them net new business to add to their portfolio. So yeah. It's a mix, and you have to go down that road to find what people really want out of you as a trusted partner.
So Layne does a really great job of that. And I feel like every time I talk to him, not just even personally, but when we talk about business, I feel like he's really looking to understand who in his network he can connect me to. And Layne's really great at that. And I think that's one of the other keys to relationship capital is not only do you have to be a great facilitator of connections, right? It's one thing to send an email and say, hey, Layne, I want you to meet my friend Mitch. No, it's another thing to actually facilitate that connection. Other than email, Layne, what other experiences do you have? What other methods do you use to really make those connections, those good, solid, facilitated ones?
Yeah, and I'm pretty adamant that when I refer someone to someone in my network, that I attend that first meeting. I think that's really, really important. It really breaks down that wall, sets up an immediate level of trust, and I kind of get to lead it and set the agenda on how I like to go. So that's real important to me. Emails get lost in the shuffle. We live by email. We get too many of them every minute of every day. Look, I'm old school in some ways. Pick up the phone, set up a meeting, get 2 or 3 people in a room together and talk. I've learned how to be a really, really good listener over the years. I think that's really important. We all know the people that don't know how to zip it. So it's important to really listen and understand and, make that connection.
Layne, let me ask you this. There's tons of other methods, right? So relationship capital isn't it. I actually like it. It's a great buzzword. But there's lots of other methods of, traditional, I'm doing my quotes, of traditional networking, right? You have, what else do you have? You have speed networking for folks that might do that. You have small group facilitated, which is going to be like category exclusive. Then you have some group facilitated that's not necessarily category exclusive, a little more of an open format where it's almost like It's almost like a dog eat dog world. You got to get in there. You got to get aggressive. You got to make some connections. Then there's the social events. There's tons of those different types of events that are out there and available. What do you use most often, and which types of events do you feel really lead you down the path to relationship capital?
Yeah, and as you know, you and I, we've done them all. We've done
Yeah.
the large groups, we've done the small groups, and I've done everything in between. It works for some, it doesn't work for all. I've found my most success one-on-one networking and very small group networking. I would tell people, if you're joining a network group or business development group and there's 15, 20, 30 people in there, you really have to say to yourself, am I able to work with everyone in this group, and do I have the ability to actually refer them in to business and find them business? And that's really difficult when you have a large group of people, because there's just some opportunities that might not present itself to you, that low-hanging fruit, where you actually have to go out there and create the opportunity. And sometimes, based on what the person does, it might not be the right time, or even you might not have the right level of comfort to bring that up to one of your trusted partners or a customer or a client.
And that leads us back to your quote before. I have it running down the bottom of the screen there. You have to give to get, right? So you have a limited, let's call it a limited box full of folks in your network, and you could only refer the same piece of business or the same introduction or make the same connection to the same person so many times.
Meet people, meet as many people as you can. Because I always say there's one thing in life, probably the only thing in life, that is free, and that's experience. When you get to meet somebody and experience something with them, it goes a long way. But be careful. You don't want to meet everyone, because your time is very valuable. You always want to select and meet the right people, and it's not going to work out all the time. But if you focus on it, you get a feel on who the right people are you want to meet, and what the next steps you can take with them are.
Yeah, I could certainly understand that. There are a lot of time wasters out there, and there are a lot of net takers out there, right? And net takers, you want to avoid those folks. You want to be around folks that always want to try to be net givers. They always want to see how they can add value to you, who they can introduce you to.
And I said to myself in 2019, one of my goals were to meet 2 new people a week. When I mentioned this to my peers, they thought I was crazy and thought it would be impossible to do. The outcome was, for the first 5.5 months of the year, I shattered that record. What I then fell into was, I now had to manage all these new relationships, figure out how to navigate them, how I can help these people while they were beginning to help me. The follow-up is key, and we are all guilty of not following up all the time, and not following up the way they need to. And I use a lot of different mechanisms to try to stay on track with that. Again, I mentioned I'm still a little old school. I got things spreadsheeted. I live by my calendar. I live by notes. We use a CRM here where we're tracking. Fortunately, today, everybody still carries business cards. I have stacks and stacks of business cards, organized, categorized, filled with books. What I constantly do with my network is I visit it almost daily. I just run through lists. I'm a very visual, hands-on person, so don't ever be afraid to ask for help. People will help you. Ask for help, any way, shape, or form. At the point of my career, I reflect back and look at the 20 plus years of people that have helped me, and they genuinely helped me. I am in the position now to want to help as many people as I possibly can, help them achieve more success, help them achieve better ideas, better strategies. And it gives me the opportunity to fine-tune my skills, get to meet new people, work with new people, and just have a conversation and talk.